everyone, it's Ashley with Posh Crochet Patterns. Today's tutorial is the Moroccan Beauty Tee. I designed this myself. This is a 4-row repeat, so we will start off making double crochets across. We will do this for 3 rows, and then the 4th row we will make double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, and we will repeat this 4-row repeat from bottom to top. This is a very easy pattern. This will be fairly easy for beginners. Our construction is identical front and back panels, and we do have a little bit of sleeves here that we will chain out on both sides, and then we will work our way up until we get to our collar. So we will need 4 stitch markers, 2 for the front and 2 for the back panel. Our stitch markers will go up at the top so that we have our opening for our neck and our collar, and we will also need a yarn needle, and the hook size we will be using for this pattern is a 4mm G6. The yarn that I'm using today is RedHeart Unforgettable. There's 270 yards in each ball. This is the color Rainforest. This is a medium 4-weight yarn. This is machine wash and dryable, and this is 100% acrylic yarn. For size small, for adult small, you will need 4 balls of this RedHeart Unforgettable yarn. For a size medium, you will need 5 balls. For a size large, you will need 5 balls. For an X large, you will also need 5 balls. For a 2X large, you will need 6 balls, and 3X large, you will need 6 balls. To begin, we will need to make our slip knot and our chains. So for size small, you will chain 74 plus 2. For size medium, you will chain 84 plus 2. For a size large, you will chain 94 plus 2. For an X large, you will chain 104 plus 2. For a 2X large, you will chain 114 plus 2. And for a 3X large, you will chain 128 plus 2. And I am making the size large, so I will chain 94 plus 2. I have made my 94 chains. We will now turn our chains towards the back here. We will double crochet. We will double crochet in the back bump of the third chain. This is our first chain, our second chain, our third chain. I'm going to grab the fourth chain and turn it over and yarn over, and I'm going to insert into that back bump chain for a double crochet. We will do this in each chain all the way across this row. Continue to make one double crochet in the back bump of each chain until the very last chain. I have completed row 1, so we will chain 2 and we will turn our work. For row 2, in the same chain here, we will make one double crochet. We will make one double crochet in each chain all the way across. I am on my last chain for row 2, and I have this chain 2 floater here. So I am going to use the straight edge hack. I'm going to yarn over, insert into that double crochet. I'm going to bring my hook around and through that that chain at the top of that chain 2. Going to yarn over and pull through that, and I'm going to yarn over and complete the double crochet. So I've just completed row 2. We will chain 2, we will turn. For row 3, we will repeat row 2 in the same chain here. We will yarn over and make a double crochet. We will make a double crochet in each chain all the way across until the end. I am at the end of row 3, so I have my last chain here and the chain 2 floater. So I will do the same thing that I did last time. We'll insert into that stitch, and I will bring it back around through that the top of that chain 2 and yarn over and pull through, and then complete the double crochet. That way we have a straight edge. So I just completed row 3. So now we're on row 4. We will chain 2 and we will turn our work. And now we will begin the chain mesh. So for row 4, in the same chain, we will make a double crochet. We will chain 1, we will skip the next chain, and we will double crochet into the next. So we will skip this one, skip this one, and double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip this chain, double crochet in the next. When doing the chain mesh, make sure your chain 1s are not too small and tight. Okay? That definitely matters. So we will skip this one, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip this chain, double crochet in the next. Repeat this all the way across until the very last chain. In that last chain, we will do the same thing we did for row 2 and row 3. We will use the straight edge hack for the last chain with the chain 2 floater. For row 5, we will chain 2 and we will turn. We will make 1 double crochet in the same chain, and in between each double crochet we will make 1 double crochet in the space, in that chain 1 space. And then on top of every double crochet we will make 1 double crochet. So we are now going to repeat a 4-row repeat. So for this row 5, we are basically repeating row 1. And then for row 6, we will repeat row 2. For row 7, we will repeat row 3. And then for row 8, we will repeat the double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. So it will begin a 4-row repeat now. So as long as you stick with the 4-row repeat, this is what your blouse tee will look like. So as you can see, we have double crochets across, double crochets across, double crochets across, and then the double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. And then it repeats over and over. So you will continue to repeat the 4-row repeat all the way up until the given instructions for the sleeve. So for size small, you will repeat this pattern until row 28. For a size medium, you will continue the pattern until row 30. For size large, you will repeat the pattern until row 32. For X large, you will repeat the pattern till row 34. For a 2X large, you will repeat the pattern till row 38. And for 3X large, you will repeat the pattern till row 42. Once we finish until our given instructions for the sleeve, I will meet you all back then, and I will show you the next step on what to do to make your sleeves. Just make sure, whatever you do, just make sure you have your double crochet in that same chain. In this chain 1 space here, you have a double crochet and then a double crochet on top of the double crochet. And then like the next space here is the chain 1. You will go into that chain space and you will make a double crochet. And then on top of that double crochet, in this chain right here, you will make a double crochet. So just make sure that that's what you're doing on that 4th row, and then everything will be fine. In the row after, I said it at the 4th row. You're on your 5th row, I'm sorry. So after this row, you will treat it just like you did for row 2. Just 1 double crochet in each chain across. So just continue that pattern until either row 28, row 30, row 32, row 34, row 38, or row 42 for your given size. I want to show you all how to join a new ball of yarn. So this is where I ended off. I had rolled this ball of yarn here. So what we need to do is we need to twist it just like this. I'm going to take this side, just like this. Take this side and do the same exact thing. So we're going to pull them kind of tight, not tight, but close. Not closed, but and then don't tighten it all the way, but pull them together. There we go. I'm going to show you all one more time. Up close. So we have our 2 strands, so we're going to twist them. Do just like this. The same thing on this side. Just don't do it tight right here when you do that. And now we're going to pull them. Now pull tight. Makes a really nice secure knot. So there you go. So now I got my new ball attached. And now I can just pick up where I left off. And those yarn ends, don't worry about those. We'll weave them in on the inside. So once you're done with your full panel, you'll decide which side you want your front and your back to be, or the front and the inside to be. And then we'll worry about weaving those in. You can crochet over them like this if you like. Just a couple times. Just push that off to the side and the back for now. And then just keep going. We'll worry about those little yarn ends later. And then so you just keep working until you reach that row that will start our sleeves on. And then I will meet you all back then. Our next step now, once we've crocheted all the way up until the given row to start the sleeve, we will chain out the number of chains that we need for our size, and then we will pick up where we left off and go straight across. So, but first, we need just a little bit of yarn. So this is where I left off for row 32 for a size large. And I will take this extra yarn here and I will join right here on the edge. And I will chain out across. So, for a size small, you will chain 20 chains. So on this side here, where I left off, for my size, I will chain 24 chains plus 2. But on the opposite side, I will only chain 24 chains. So I don't need to chain the plus 2 on this side, but I will need to chain the plus 2 for this side. So for size small, you will need to chain out 20 plus 2. For size medium, you will need to chain 22 plus 2. For a size large, you will need to chain 24 plus 2. For an X large, chain 30 plus 2. For a 2X large, you will chain 32 plus 2. And for a 3X large, you will chain 34 plus 2. So for this side here, I'm going to go back in and slip stitch. Oops. Just so it would be more secure. And now I will begin my chain. So for size large, I need 24 chains. And I will clip my yarn. I'm just going to leave this hang here. And then I'm going to come across here. Where I left off. And I will chain 24 plus 2. Okay, so I have my 24 plus 2. I'm going to turn this around. And I'm going to pick up where I left off. So I left off on the chain mesh. So this row will be 1 double crochet in each chain. and then I'm just going to go straight across. So I chain my +2. So that means, make sure this is straight. And then the third chain, and that back bump, just like we did in the beginning, I'm going to make 1 double crochet. And then I'm going to make 1 double crochet in each chain and the back bump all the way across for the sleeves. So I'm just picking up the pattern where I left off. So no matter what row your sleeve ends on, make sure that you pick up the pattern where you left off. And I'm thinking about doing a video and teaching you all how to make this yarn ball. It's got a hole going through it, and it holds good, and it just unravels just like that. It's pretty neat. So I think in the next day or two I'll probably post a video and show you all how to do that. So I'm just working across in the back bump. You don't have to work in the back bump. You could always work in the top loop of the chain and sew the back bump if you wish. Just whatever you decide. So here I am. Looks like I got 1 chain left. I'm trying to get that in that back bump. It's in the middle of that chain. And I want to make sure I have 24 double crochets, because if I have one extra before I start this chain mesh, then it'll throw it off once I complete the 3 rows of double crochets, and then I repeat that 4th row right here. If there's an extra stitch, then it'll throw that pattern off. So I need to make sure I have 24. So do not include this chain 2 floater. Only count the double crochets. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, that's good. I got 24. And then in the regular pattern, I would have a double crochet in the same chain here. So in this chain right here, where this chain 2 is, I'm going to make a double crochet. And then in this chain 1 space, right in between those 2 double crochets, make a double crochet. On top of this double crochet, make a double crochet, and then just continue the pattern across. I've reached my end to the other sleeve, and you only have 24 chains on this sleeve, so I'm going to go into the back bump of the chain. I need to make sure that my stitch count is 24 on this sleeve. So that's 1, 2, I'm going to skip the chain. Right there, small. And that back bump. Okay, so that's 2. Well, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, so you just do that all the way until the end. Make sure you count the right amount for your sleeve, and I will meet you back in a moment. So I've crocheted across that chain for the sleeve. Already counted it. I have 24. So now I am just going to pull this through and tighten. And secure that. And then we will weave that in to secure that later. So we will chain 2 like normal. We will turn our work around. We'll weave this in later as well. So for our pattern, I left off on this row, so I have 2 more rows of double crochets, and then that chain 1, skip 1 double crochet. So I will just continue with the regular pattern like I did before, and you will too. And let's see, for size small, you will continue this pattern till row 49. For a medium, you will continue this pattern until row 51. For a size large, you will finish the pattern, you will complete the pattern until row 55. X large, you will complete the pattern until row 55. 2X large, you will complete the pattern until row 59. And a 3X large, you will complete the pattern until row 63. Make sure, no matter what size you are, make sure your last row is all one double crochet in each chain across. So say you're finished, your very last row that I gave you ends on this double crochet, chain one, skip one, double crochet. The double crochet, chain one, skip one, double crochet. No matter what, for everyone on your last row, finish it with one double crochet in each chain all the way across. That way you'll have a solid foundation for sewing for your collar. So go ahead and finish the pattern until you're given row for your size, and I will meet you back then. So I've completed a total of 55 rows for the front and back panel. Both are identical panels. The very last row for each panel, I made sure that I made one double crochet in each chain. So now it's time to use our 4 stitch markers for the very top sleeve and collar. I want to show you here on this top of the sleeve and shoulder and collar here. I will give the instructions for each size, where to put each stitch marker. So we'll have 4 stitch markers, one here by the neck, one here, and then the 4th stitch marker goes here. Right here, we don't need a stitch marker for the very last chain, but this is what it will look like. I went ahead and stitched these 2 together just to give you an idea of what it'll look like. These yarn ends I will hide on the inside of the shirt so they will not be seen. So where the other stitch markers are, we will repeat this process right here. So I'm going to show you what to do on the other side of the sleeve. We will need 4 stitch markers. So what we will do is we will count over for so many chains and place a stitch marker and pin it on both sides. So for size small, do not count the first chain. Begin counting after the second chain and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And do the same on the opposite side. So we do not count the first chain. We'll count from the second chain on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So for size small, you will count over every 10. So we will place the stitch marker. Let me use this stitch marker through the 2 chains to pin it together, and then the chain after the stitch marker, we will begin to count another 10, and then we will place another stitch marker, and we will do this 4 times. So for size small, you would count every 10 chains and place a stitch marker. For size medium, you will count every 12 chains. For size large, you will count every 13 chains. For X large, you will count every 16 chains. For a 2X large, you will count every 17 chains. And for a 3X large, you will count every 18 chains. So go ahead and do that, and I will meet you back, and I will show you what to do next. I'm going to thread my yarn needle. I'm going to use the color that matches this best with this red and a little bit of green and orange. So I made this with wire. I just folded the wire in half and twisted the ends to create a loop. And this helps me to thread my yarn needle. I just pull that through. So what we will do, I have the outside facing me, so this will be the front, which will be seen by everyone. So I'm going to go into the chains that the stitch marker is in. So I'm going to go through those 2 chains. I'm going to go through it again. I'm going to remove the stitch marker. I'm going to go into that same chain and out through the next chain. And I'm just going to pull that through. I'm going to go over to the back side here. I'm going to go into that same chain. And through the next chain. And pull that through. And I'm crisscrossing. So I'm going to go into this chain and go out through the next chain. And then I'm going to go back over to the back panel, go into that same chain, and out through the next chain. Do this one more time on the next side. And then one more time on the next side. And then I will pull. It's already pretty tight. And that is my join. So I'm going to do this in each stitch marker. And at the end, in that very beginning chain, I will begin the same process that I just showed you. So you have a choice. I'm actually thinking about this middle stitch marker. I'm thinking about not stitching in that, so it will expose the shoulder for like the cold shoulder look. So I have this stitched here for the first 3 chains, and then I counted over 13 chains from the second chain to the stitch marker. I began sewing for 3 chains, and then I have this stitch marker this stitch marker, and then the one I just showed you. So I'm thinking about skipping the second stitch marker and just having 2 joins here and a join here and a join here. I'll zoom out, that way you all can get a better look at it. So I have these 2, and then I have this one here, the one I showed you on camera, and I have these 2 stitch markers. This is the one that I'm thinking about skipping. I'm going to skip it, and then after I stitch up the underarms and down the sides, and I'll try it on and I'll see how it looks. And if I don't like it, and if I feel like I need to stitch this up like I did these, then that's what I'll do. But I got a feeling that leaving this part exposed will give it a really nice look on the shoulders. So this one here, I need to stitch this one up. So I need to do the same process. So I got, let's see, it's kind of this color. This color looks like it would match. And the yarn strand doesn't have to be very long because we're only stitching up 3 chains. And then after this, we'll stitch up the other side, and then we will stitch up the underarms and the sides of the panel, and then it will be done. And it is going to be beautiful. I've already tried it on. I pinned it all up, and I tried it on, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. I know Scott, he loved it. He said, that is beautiful. He said that he thinks it kind of looks like an Indian, you know, like Native American Indian Swancho shirt, which I think it does too. It does look like something exotic. And the reason why I chose the name Moroccan Beauty is because Morocco's colors are red and green. So I'm just going to go across through this chain and out that one, pull it through. And then I want to go to this back panel, insert into that same chain and out through the next chain. And it just crisscrosses. And it gives it a nice, strong join. There we go. So that's done. And like I said, this one, I am going to leave that open for the cold shoulder look. It might be a little below the shoulder going down the arm, but I still think it'll be a good look. So we'll see. If it doesn't look good, then I'll stitch it up. So now you just need to repeat that process. I will give you the chain amount again. So for size small, you will count over 10 chains and then place a stitch marker. After that stitch marker, you will count another 10 chains and place another stitch marker. And you will do that 4 times. So you'll have the beginning chain and then a stitch marker, stitch marker, stitch marker, stitch marker. For medium, you will do that every 12 chains. Size large, you will do that every 13 chains, which is what I did here. Mine's a size large. For an X large, you will do that every 16 chains. For a 2XL, you will do that every 17 chains. And for 3XL, you will do that every 18 chains. So go ahead and get those finished and meet me back, and we will sew up the underarms and the sides. Okay, guys, so I told you that I was going to skip that one stitch marker for the opening for the shoulder, and I skipped the wrong one. So evidently I needed to skip this one. So right here where the collar starts, so you got your 4 stitch markers, 1, 2, 3, 4. That 4th one for your neck, you'll sew that up. And then this next one here, you will skip. So you'll stitch here, you'll stitch the 1st stitch marker, you'll stitch the 2nd stitch marker, and you will skip the 3rd stitch marker. So I'm going to undo this the best way I can here. So I didn't tie it off, and I didn't sew it in on the inside, so that's a good thing. So I can just kind of pull apart, pull that strand out, and this one will expose the shoulder. I knew one of them would. I was thinking it'd be that one, but nope. It's this one. So this one will expose right there on your shoulder, so that will look really, really cute. There we go. There we go. Easy fix here. Okay. It looks fine. Okay, so this one here, I just put that in from where my stitch marker was. So we'll stitch the end, the 2nd stitch marker, the 1st stitch marker, 2nd stitch marker, skip the 3rd, and stitch the 4th. And then here will be our opening for our shoulder. So I need, let's see, this color will do, this green. I'm going to stitch this up real fast. I'm just stitching up 3 chains. That way it'll be strong enough, but it'll still give us like our hang drape, you know. That way it'll look good. So I don't need a real long strand here. All right, awesome, great. So just repeat that on both sides, and this will expose our shoulder. And this is going to look great. Okay, so for sewing up the sides here and going under the underarm, what I'm going to do is here's the end of the poncho, and then here's the sleeve. Okay, so I got it on its side. I'm just going to take this strand and just loosely follow all the way up. Okay, and then I'm going to go back down loosely, and I'm trying to make sure I got enough sewing thread. Okay, so I'm just basically going up, down, and back up enough for 3 times the length here. We're going to do the same process, the sewing process, not every 13, or we're not going to do that. We're just going to stitch it all the way up evenly using the same type of sewing method. So this is not turned inside out. When you use this method here, you do not want to turn your outfit inside out. You want it to be right side out. So I'm going to start here at the bottom, and I just had stitch markers holding it together for me to try it on to see how it looked and everything. So we're just going to go into that chain. Going to go into that bottom chain. Oops. I'm just going to do that same thing again, just like I did before, up at the top. I want to make sure that holds good. I'm going to go back into that same chain. And then I'll begin going up. Okay, so these are double crochets. We're just going to have to go in and out through that double crochet there. And I want to go across the other side into that double crochet and come back out in that same double crochet. I'm going to go into that same double crochet and into the chain. So there, this is the chain before it starts the new row. So I'm going to go into that same double crochet and then into that chain. Because with the double crochet being so tall, we really want to have 2 stitches in that double crochet because the double crochet is so tall. And if we only have 1 sewing stitch in each double crochet going all the way up, it will shrink it in. We don't want that. I'm just going to go from that chain into the middle of that double crochet, and then I'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So now I'm going to go into that double crochet and out through that chain. I'm going to go into that double crochet. Let's see, that should be the chain. So far the rows lined up good. These 2 rows with these 2 rows. And that's what you want. So now I'm going to go over here into that chain, and I'm just going to go into the middle of that double crochet. Dang it, my hair. I got really long hair. And my hair is getting in the way. So I'm going to go over here. There's that double crochet. So I'm going to go into the chain and just into the middle of that double crochet. So now I'm going into the middle of that double crochet. And out through that chain. That way I got 2 stitches for each double crochet on each side. That way it doesn't shrink up on us. There we go. And so far we got 3 rows joined. So you repeat this, going all the way up, and here's our sleeve. So that's the underarm of the sleeve, and you're just going to go straight up. Just pretend this here is just a straight line. So you're just going to go straight up. And that'll create this nice Swancho poncho. So I'm just going to go into that chain and out to the middle of that double crochet. And the same thing on the opposite side. Now into the middle of that double crochet and out through that chain. And you're just, making this happen. It doesn't have to be perfect. As long as the rows match up decently, and as long as it doesn't shrink up on you, that's all that matters. And this is going to look so good. Like, I didn't even have it stitched up yet. I just had it pinned in all the right spots and tried it on. And oh my goodness, it was beautiful. Right. And this is the reason why we don't turn inside out, because if you turn it if you look on the inside, it's creating like this bumpy, kind of messy, ugly ridge. That's why we're stitching this from, you know, the right side out. So this right here will either be my front or my back, which everyone will see. And then this will be my inside. So yeah, this is gonna look so good. So go ahead and do that, and I will meet you all back, and then we'll see how it all turned out. I'm realizing that if I just go into the double crochet like this, that it works better, the sewing method. It curves it in. So now if I go into the stitch like this, and then go into it like that, that it pulls and curves it in. So this seems to be working better than the mattress stitch join. So I would definitely do it like this. I don't know what this stitch is called. I don't know if they even call this a stitch, but I know it is working better than the mattress join. I'm always figuring out new ways to do things, new better ways to do things. So that is what I would do. Just go right into the middle of that double crochet just like that. And then on the opposite side, just do the same thing. It is working great. Yeah, so I would definitely just do it like that. And I will see you all soon. I wanted to show you all a better angle of what I'm doing. So this is the sleeve here, right here. But yeah, this stitching method I'm using is working way better. Like, look at the difference. See how it's scrunching up and buckling here? But here it's smooth and straight. That's because I did it a different way. I've never seen anybody do it this way. But it is working way better. Kind of hate that my bottom of my shirt's looking like that, but so here we go. So I'm just going from the outside, and I'm just going into right through that stitch. And then I'm pulling it, and it's just rolling in. And then I do the same thing on this side. Watch. Look at that. Just rolled right in. Like, this is so perfect and smooth now. So, yes, I would definitely, I need to name that. Wonder what I should call this stitch. Or this sewing method. Look at that. Like, this is perfect. I need to name it, though. I'll think of something. Think of something good to call it. I would definitely use this method here I'm using, so it doesn't buckle on you like that mattress stitch did. So almost done on the sleeve. So just keep doing that like I just showed you, so you'll have a perfect seam. So it's finished, guys. So I got it on the hanger. This is where the shoulder will go. So it will show the top part of the shoulder. And then this is the sleeve. So it will show the open, it's called a cold shoulder. So yeah, super nice. Loving it. I hope y'all love it too. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you like it, hit that thumbs up. And if you want to see more, then definitely hit that bell and subscribe. Thank you all. Bye-bye.